So this is going to be a quick kind of review of this BTAS cleaning and gun cleaning and lubricant kit. And before I get into the review, I just want to disclose that the BTAS brand actually sent me this kit as a sample, as a free sample, so that I could evaluate it and then do a video review of it. The other thing I just need to say is, due to the rules surrounding these videos, I can't actually show you this product on a real firearm. I wish I could, but I can't. And then the third thing I'll mention is I've worked in the firearms industry either in a full-time or part-time basis for the last 22 years now, I believe. I think I'm coming up on 22 years. That doesn't make me an expert, but I do have a fair amount of experience. And the other thing is, because of where I work and what I do, I clean a lot of guns. So I've got a lot of experience cleaning firearms, both my personal firearms, but even more so for customers' firearms. So let me go over real quick what's in this kit and then kind of my thoughts on it. So the first part of the kit is this BTAS CLP, which is kind of designed it's marketed as a one-step kind of cleaner, lubricant, and protectant. And you get a 2-ounce spray bottle of that. And then you get a 1-ounce bottle of their gun oil. And the gun oil is actually in one of these little oiler type designs, which I really like because it makes it so much easier to put oil in like the specific location you want it to go versus applying too much or it going all over the place. So I'm a big fan of this type of dispensing method. But you get a 1-ounce container of that, and then the third component that you get 50. Although this is less than 50 now because I've used a couple of them. You get 50 of these cleaning swabs. And you can use them, for cleaning purposes and/or to swab a bore. You can cut it in half, and that's what I did. I cut them in half and used them as bore swabs. But you get 50 of those. So I had the chance to actually, of course, I certainly wouldn't test this on customers' guns without knowing more about it. But I had the chance to. I had a couple firearms that needed to be cleaned. They were due, so I had the chance to actually put these things to the test, and I really kind of said, I'm going to give it a try. The first thing I'll say is I was pleasantly surprised that the CLP type product that they do is almost odorless. I couldn't detect, and I've got a pretty sensitive nose, I couldn't really detect any type of discernible odor, which is nice because normally with gun cleaning products, the one big downside is they typically have a really strong odor. The other thing that I noticed about it is it did a pretty good job of breaking up stuff that I would spray a little bit on, and by the way, a little bit goes a long way. I would spray a little bit on a particular gun part and let it sit for a little bit and then come back, and I could just about wipe it off. I didn't even have to do a lot of scrubbing, and so it seemed to be pretty effective. The gun oil itself, I got a chance to try that, and I thought it did a pretty good job as well. And of course, the swabs are handy to have as well. The other thing that I noticed, and I did a little reading up on it just to make sure, is it sounds as though this stuff won't, the CLP stuff won't damage, wood or metal or polymer or anything like that. And I actually spilled a little bit on a wooden stock of my own, and if you've ever cleaned a gun and you spill solvent or anything like that on it, you got to get it up immediately or it'll start to damage the finish. I actually wiped it up just out of habit really quick, but I don't think it's advertised as not damaging wood, and I didn't catch any damage, when I spilled the drop, so I think that's probably correct. Overall, I'd say it performed really well. I didn't have any complaints. It did, basically kind of what I had hoped it would do. And so I got a chance to kind of put it through the paces, and it performed like I expected. So I can't really see so far a downside to it. I was fairly pleased, especially for the cost involved. I thought it was a good value. And so hopefully, something I've said, if you were on the market for this or you weren't sure, hopefully, something I've said maybe has been of value if you're considering this.